Well, hello everyone, welcome back to another Benson Valley vlog. I'm just going to do a little vlog and show you what's been going on so far and what I've been doing. Not much on the electrical side, but in the way of programming, but I have been getting on with some of the railway. So the first thing, I'll show you the electrical side of things and what I've been doing. So down here, and I've got to put the runners on it, but I've been building up the power supply side of things, which you can see here. So this is going to be the power supply to run the whole of the train network. I have a transformer here, which is a 24 volt transformer to bring it down to AC 24, and a variable voltage supply here, which you can pick up from eBay. And if I can find a link to them, I'll put a link on the bottom of this video. This is quite handy. This gives you any voltage. I think it's from 0 to about 24 volts. I'll show you in a minute when I switch it on. And that's controlled by this little potentiometer over here, and it's got a current limiting potentiometer as well, which I haven't set up, but it does apparently work. So that's going to be for the track voltage. So this will give me the 18 volts for the track voltage on the system. And then over here I've got a computer power supply, which is giving me at the back on this terminal bar a 5 volts and a 12 volts. So these are very, very handy. If you've got any old computer power supplies, they give out, I'm pretty sure it's 2 amps on these for 12 and 5 volts, and they can do a negative voltage as well for 12 volts and 5 volts, and I think you can get a 3-point set out of it as well, but I haven't bothered doing that. And if you work in a company that's got an IT department, go and have a word with them. They're always upgrading their computers and they're throwing these away. They just get skipped, so well worth getting hold of them. I've got quite a few of these for little projects around the house. So all this will be on some runners and slide back, and on the front display I've got a switch here which will turn on and off the track voltage, and another switch to turn on the mains. And I'll plug this in a minute and show you it up and running. And so I've made some other drawers up here. These are 2 drawers I've made. This, the first drawer, is going to be for the DCC++ side of it. I've got the Arduino, sorry, not Arduino, I've got the Raspberry Pi all set up here. I've still got to, at the moment it's connected to the computer, so I've still got to connect that through and get this working properly. But it does work because I've been running it through the computer. And I'm going to probably put a monitor, HDMI cable off here, and some USB keyboards and mouse so I can control it all. And so at the back there you can see there's the DCC system, which is using the basic motor driver. I think it's the R3 I said. And I have got the more robust driver to rebuild, which will give me much more current, which I'll go for a demonstration when I set it up, but someone is already doing it on the internet. And then the top one, which has got nothing in it at the moment, will have some relay banks and stuff to control any accessory lights, points, and anything like that. So this is quite handy to have these drawers come out, because it allows me easy access obviously to work on it. Put them away, and if I put plugs on the back, it means that I can actually take them right out to do work on a bench as well. So I thought that was quite a handy little thing to add on. At the top here, I've done this before on my previous railway, I've got buzz bars running around. So the bottom one here is my 5 volts accessory DC, which has come off that computer power supply. This will power up obviously 5 volt devices on the track. Like over here I've got 2 cables coming off, and that's to do the one of the turnouts, which has got a servo on it, which needs the 5 volts of the servo. And it also power off of these for the Arduinos, for any control of Arduinos I need. And above that is my track voltage, and as you can see I've got some cables already coming off it to power up the tracks, temporarily a little bit on the positives, because I'm hoping to put current transformers in at some point, but I've got a lot to do. They then come along, and this cable's got to be neatened up, because I've put a pull-out drawer now for my keyboard as well, so it's out of the way, and then that buzz bar carries on across the rest of the track. And for the electric side of it, that's pretty much it. I'll just plug it in a minute, 1 minute. Right, so I've just plugged it in, and as you can see now, I can switch it on. You can hear the fan start, it's quite noisy. That does go down after a while, and realistically, I've got quite a few power supplies. I'll probably go for a few, see if I can get some better ones, or even take the fan out and replace it. And if I turn that on, you'll see now I've got my 17 volts, and if I adjust the tensiometer. The white one. I can see I can change it to get it to dead on 18 volts. So that's quite handy. That's that little power supply in there. It's quite a handy bit of kit. At the moment, I'll just switch it off. At the moment, this needs a plastic cover over it because obviously this high voltages. It's only a temporary device at the moment, and I don't really use it at the moment until I get that done. Most of my days have been, when I do get a bit of spare time, has been doing the track work because I want to get some trains running. So I've done one of the turnouts, which is over here, and it's got a servo attached to it. I did have it working, but I can't demonstrate at the moment because it's been disconnected. I've got to do that again. Most of my time has been setting up this turnout over here. Not turnout, the embanked turn. It's going to have two tracks, an up and a down line that's going to go around to the top level. And I've struggled like anything to get these bends right without the trains coming off, and to get the bend and the incline at the same time. Now I'm running this train over here, which is the Duchess of Sutherland, and it's a Chinese make. And at the moment, even with that gradient, which is a very, very small gradient, it struggles to get up it. And I think the wheels are just spinning, and so I think a lot of it is down to the weight of the train, and I need to figure out to take it apart and see if I can get some weight in it, maybe some lead work. For building these curves, which are all laid on this cork base, and then I've been using some sand ballast, which I thought was looking nice, but I think it's over scale, so I've ordered some more different types because I was getting this from a local supplier rather than a model shop. And to do most of the curves, I've been using the track set gauges. I think it's a 21-inch or higher I've been using on this. It's the higher one. So I've been using the 24-inch on that to lay them in, and that's been pretty good. And to make the joints up, I've been following someone on the network on the internet where you cut it and you slide that other line in onto the sleepers and the small one there, so that it gives a better curve, which works great on this one. Over this one I didn't do it enough, it's not enough offset, and it didn't work so well. So there you go, it's a learning curve for me on this one. I'm not very good at laying the track. I don't particularly like the track laying side of it. Most of the scenery part of it, you can see here, is all made up from a bonding plaster. So you know the big bag, you go to Wickes or B&Q's, and I'll get the big bags of bonding. It gives quite a hard base to put things on. I can give a nice texture like a mountain or something like that, or scenery which will be painted up, and some grass and stuff put on, will be quite nice. So these are done and running quite nice. Both trains pass quite well without, I was just derailed a little bit there where I pulled across, without touching each other. So that was one of the problems. I was following the gauge sets you can buy on the bigger end, and I was following that direct for down around the bends, and it was too close together, they was hitting each other, so I've had to offset them a little bit, but I'm quite happy with this. It seems to be running quite nicely. Over the back there, underneath the TV, which I'm slowly building up, which should be feathered off a bit, will be a seaside scenery. I'm hoping to put at the back, to get rid of these cables, a little tiny lighthouse. So that's going to be quite an interesting thing to build. And then I'll finish off the bonding and painting, and then I'm looking at putting some sort of glazed seat on it. So if anyone's got any recommendations on that, I want something that looks like a glass see-through pit, so it show the blue through. So I'll paint all this with a blue and a green effect of a sea, and then I want the glazed bit on top to shine through. So if anyone's got any recommendation on that, that'd be great. That'd be my next project at some point. Down here I've been building up a wall just as a trial. This is again made out of the bonding. You see, it's quite hard stuff, and I was scoring out thinking I could put my own bricks in, but number one, it's going to take me probably the rest of the year to do that, so that's a bit too much, and also it seems to break away. So I've downloaded some brick paper printed out on paper, and because this is plasterwork, I can use just normal, either PVA glue or wallpaper paste to put that in. the other tracks that will be coming across will be these points. I've got a turnout here that will be coming round, and I'm going to have another turnout here, and there'll be 2 lines here coming along. Then these will be the outside branches that will come round here, as you can see, hopefully, and then following on down through my little den, and they'll be going out underneath that window into the garden at some point. But I think that'll be probably a year down the line, the way I'm going, the speed I'm going at. I've built a little platform here, which is this is going to be a stop end at this point. So the tracks will be coming down. The 2 outer lines will be down here, and this one will be turning out and coming down here to a stop. And this again made out of the bonding. I've got to build this up and feather it off, and then painting it's good. But I did want an overhang on this a little bit on these edges, and I haven't worked out how I'm going to do that yet. Could do it by scoring out the bottom so I can get it whether the plaster will hold and not break. I'll have to work and figure out how I'm going to do that. And I'm building up one of the Metcalfe's stations, which I quite enjoyed building these. But I'm going to look at the resin plastic ones, which I've never done before. And at some point, this is the other Metcalfe station from an old model railway that I had, which needs a bit of help. It's falling apart a bit. I might take this off of this, make a bonding railway, and that be going in there. So that'll look quite nice when it's done, going through. And at the top, I've got the shops that I've already built from years ago. A couple of lines are going to run down through here. And then I'll have a dirt track for a road, which will be going down to the seaside. And this top track will be going across over the top of the bottom ones that are going out through the garden. So that's all got to be built. And there's as you can see in the background, there's a church there that I've built from years ago as well. And that's pretty much it. That's all I've been doing. It seems like there's not a lot, but then I've spent most of the time in the garden and stuff and doing other projects, and I only get to work on this in the evenings. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll update you when I'll get the tracks up and running, and maybe when I get some of the DCC up and running. Thanks for watching, and thanks to the people that have already subscribed.